Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everybody. I'm Ron with 41 Trading. We deal in Militaria, antiques, vintage, collectibles, trading cards, and just about anything of value. We try to find cool stuff, get it to people at a good price. So I was going to be consistent and do a here's what sold video every week, and I missed last week, so we got 2 weeks of stuff to go through. This is a good 2 weeks. July ended very strong. August has started very strong. We have 2 days of sales in August here of stuff to talk about. I'm always seeing headwinds. Uh, August looks like it could be a tough month, but every time I think things are going to sort of peak, things just keep going. So July was the highest sales dollar month in terms of revenue. It's also the first positive net income month. So there is a possibility, there is a idea of a plan that this stuff all might work out. Um, so let's just get into what sold. Um, this was a flip. I think this took a little bit, so I acquired this in May. It took a little bit of time, but I was happy to wait on it because I knew eventually it would sell. It seems like, after the first month of a big secret layer drop, that is a good drop. Uh, Once people start getting stuff in hand, once it starts getting delivered, they start dumping it. There's a little bit of a race to a bottom. The first 2 weeks to a month, month and a half after something is released, and then like 2 months things start ticking back up. And sure enough, I don't even think I was the lowest priced on this on eBay. I think it's probably on TCG Player, um, pretty close to 450. Let me look it up over here on this other window real quick. But yeah, I mean, this was so popular. Um, Holding out was worth it, in my opinion. Goblin Storm deck. I'm sure this is very entertaining, listening to me try to kill time while I look this up. So on TCG Player, it is 450, including shipping. Ships for free. And you can see here that, do I want to bring this over? Let me try bringing this over here. Go on. Yeah. So you can kind of see that um, that slump, and then things just kind of, well, let me do this better. There you go. You can kind of see it better now if I get my mouse out of the way too. Yeah, so like 2 months after release, it started ticking back up. It probably just goes higher from here. So anyway, don't know if what August has on the schedule for secret lair drops, but hopefully it's going to be good. This was pretty cool. Got this for $6 at Goodwill. The stuff that comes through my local Goodwill is amazing. So this is 18th to 19th century. They, the Chishti Sufis had uh, vocational books, I think or whatever it's called, books about their saints, with the wisdoms of the saints, the lives of the saints. And in the 20th century, these books were then 100, 200 years old, falling apart. Um, People would take pages from those books and then do miniature drawings on the back of them. And that's what this is. Not sure what the dates are. Claude is the person who told me all this, which AI is a fickle thing. It can give you good information, it can give you bad information, but everything that I cross-checked on this made sense. Uh, Judging from the pictures, somebody else said, you know what, that's what this is, and I'm going to buy this. Sold very quickly. Took an offer on it. I started out relatively high, but with a $6 cost of goods, I'm just more interested in flipping this, as much as I liked having it hanging on my wall. And this was double paned glass, so you could also see the obverse of this page, which had the text of the manuscript. And you could actually translate that and read what it said in I believe Arabic. Really cool piece. This sold today to a buyer in Great Britain, in Leeds. This was just a single wine glass. It's hand painted, hand blown, done by Ken Doan. I don't know his story. Apparently, I've seen miniatures in the same style. Apparently, he's pretty famous or popular or what have you. And I had two of these. One broke because I'm a klutz. I was able to sell this one for my full asking price. Although I did lower the price over time as it did not sell. I did get some offers in the meantime that were really lowball, and I'm glad I held out because despite it sitting around, I was tempted to take those lowball offers, but it's done now. Really happy to see that profit. This was a local sale. Picked this up for 20 bucks, flipped it for 100. It's kind of annoying. Well, you know how dealing with people on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist can be if you sell on these places. But I eventually did find one really good, honest, enthusiastic buyer who was like, "Yep, I'll do it. I'll be here at this time at this place," and that was nice to get that flipped. Another magic flip. Festival in a box. So yeah, these were smaller dollar profit flips. I feel like these should be worth more than. Actually, I sold it for 330. I believe I sold one for 300. No, 315. So yeah, just when they announced they were doing away with, when Wizards announced they were doing away with Mystery Booster 2, Mystery Booster 2's spiked, and these were actually festivals in a box were selling for less than the price of a Mystery Booster 2, which doesn't make sense because you get all these extra cards on top. But then once all of the festival in a boxes started getting into people's hands, people started taking those Mystery 2 boosters out, and the price plummeted. So I can only presume that this wave of supply hit the market and tanked prices back down to sub 300. I think around 270 for Mystery Booster 2s now, maybe 250. So it's really interesting to see the market dynamics around that. And Festival in a Boxes though have not fallen in price. I think they're still 300 to 330, possibly moving up. Let's see. Festival in a Box, Amsterdam. I really like selling these on eBay as well because I don't like having to deal with the signature confirmation with TCG player orders of this value. I just don't think it does anything. If you have a tracking number that says it was delivered, um, you know, that's good enough for me. So yeah, still low 300s on these. Um, Probably going up over time. These are relatively new, so we're not at that 2-month window yet. So probably September, October, these start pumping up to like 350 or something. What else we got? This took a long time to sell. It was a cost a lot of gas and a lot of my time and effort to get it acquired. I got this from almost all the way from Bozeman. This was early when I was doing this and just trying to figure things out, but hey, what are you gonna do? It's money. All that stuff is a sunk cost. So I was able to get this flipped. Not as much profit as I would have hoped from this, considering what I invested into acquiring it. But it is a cool thing to have and to sell. I wish I had maybe done a little bit more marketing with it, put it on Instagram or something like that. Customer was really happy to receive it, sent me just a message on eBay, direct messages just saying thank you, which is cool. Like, it's, thank you, exclamation point. So he's just really excited to get it. I don't know if he has a pedestal to put this on and, his broke, whatever the story is, but happy to get that out to him and I hope it gets there safe. It's a bit of an odd thing to pack, but I think I did everything I could to make sure it gets there safe. All-time combat boots. So I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but I acquired a ton of military surplus in a bulk buy. This came from that. There's like 2,200 items in it. I paid $2,100 for it. So right now I'm just saying $1 an item for everything until I hit $2,000 allocated for that. And went with boots first because there were some decent sizes with boxes, although rough condition from storage, and they're going pretty quick. Some of them are going to overseas. One went to China, and of course it was a little bit on the small side. Did this one go to China? Where did this one go to? These went to China. These are the ones that went to China. 8 Rs. So yeah, so far it's been free money, right? With a $1 cost of goods on these things, it's just all money. It's going to be a tall order. It's going to be a long road, a big hill to climb to get to 2,000, but I think it's going to happen. These came from a 50-mile Bitterroot garage sale. Got them for $5 a piece. I got 4 of them, different sizes. Cleaned them up a little bit. These are pretty hard to find. These are M70s, so these are the older version. They have all kinds of snaps and hooks and things to tighten up the legs on them to gather in the excess material. Allegedly, because bikes are or were a major component of infantry combat and movement in Switzerland. So keeping your pant legs out of the chains of the bicycles, literally, not motorcycles, bicycles. That was important, and that's where all that stuff comes from. Can't get a really good close up on it, but yeah, these are they're hard to find in the States anymore. You can get it from overseas for like $30, but then you're paying like $20 shipping, so you can usually get over $50 for these. New in box, these came from an estate sale last weekend. I don't really remember. 2 weeks ago, whatever. Just a bunch of new in-box stuff. There were a couple waders here. Then there was some winter sports stuff, which I was a little hesitant about because it's July. But I got a storage unit, throw them in there, list them, throw them in there, and just wait. And hopefully they'll sell. And we'll see if it's something that actually sells or if it's something that people are not interested in. These waders, people are really interested in them. I've had people try to lowball me, but I've found don't do it. Just wait. Um, I did take an offer on this, $40, which is fine. I priced it at the high end, expecting to get an offer and to just get it out the door. This came from a sort of a Craigslist sale. Somebody I have sort of interacted with at estate sales and done some trading dealing with. Got a bunch of just kind of thematic stuff, Forest Service stuff. These are chainsaw pants, extra long or extra long. Uh, Not something you see a lot of on eBay. The few instances of it being on there and sold, and literally it was like 2 or 3. They sell for a lot of money. Uh, I don't know why I went so low on mine. Um, I think I just wanted to get it moved because it's one of those things that there's so few listings on eBay, you don't really know. I probably should have gone higher, right? Just because there's not a lot of sales doesn't mean the demand isn't there. It just means that there's no supply there. It's a very hard to find item. So probably should have gone higher on these. It only took 7 days to sell. So, but I made $30 on it, so can't really complain. This took some time to sell. I was sort of doing some price discovery. Started at $100, went to 75, went to made an offer. Yeah, I think I sent an offer for $50 and got it sold. I think for these dress uniforms, $50 is probably the sweet spot, which is good to know because I have a whole bunch more from that bulk buy that I need to get through. Nice thing is, they're going to be turning about 40 bucks, right, at a $1 cost of goods sold. So this was an oddball thing. Sold pretty quick though, 16 days. Got two of them. Another one out there. So $5. Oh no, $1.25 a piece for these. I got these at state sale. Just throw them in a pile. They're brand new, in box. So huge return on investment. 20 bucks. Hey, I'll take 20 bucks. So this is a placeholder. This is one of actually three that I sold. Sold them for 75 total. There was a glitter one. There was a orange and pink one, which was really pretty nice. The wax flowed really nice. And there was a blue teal one that didn't really work too well, but person took all of them for 75. Usually they go for like 30 or 40, so I took a big discount, but went all to one person, saved me time, saved me trips, and saved me the risk of selling that one blue teal one to somebody for 30 bucks, and they're saying, "Ooh, I don't like this." But, sell three to one person for 75. They're getting a big enough discount on each one that, maybe they don't complain if one doesn't really meet their expectations. But I did everything to disclose the condition of them and how the wax was acting, even taking videos, 1 minute videos of them flowing and stuff like that. So really no room to complain, I think, from anybody. But nonetheless, one trip, one bartering discussion, not having to deal with someone who flakes and finding a fourth person, etc., etc. Price, the acquisition price on these was, this one was $2. The other two were $10. So 22 bucks. So make 48 bucks on them. No, 53 bucks on them. So yeah, I can't complain. Were these the ones that went to China? No, maybe these are the ones that went to China. But these did not come from the surplus bulk buy. These I think I found at a thrift store because there's no box. If they had come from the bulk buy, they probably would have a box. And the purchase price is $14. It was 2 months ago that I got these listed, so yeah, these came from a estate sale or a thrift store. But these things, although it's low dollar value, it's 20 bucks. That's nice. So, and these things come up pretty often. And if they're vintage old 90s combat boots, people still pay, you know, obviously 40, 50 bucks for them. This is cool. Sold all but two of these. Just put it up as one listing, 8 available, 7 available, whatever it is, 7 available. Said, hey, you will get one of these random peg pin post mounts for glass insulators. I got a ton of glass insulators that I would love to sell. They are not moving so far. These surprisingly are going pretty fast. The last one I sold for 8 bucks. I started and it sold so quick. I started at 6. I was like, well, shoot, let me bump the price up. And then they sold for 6 bucks. And so I bumped the price up again. And here we are, 6 or 7 bucks, whatever. Now we're at 8 bucks, 2 left. I don't think I'm going to bump the price up. Well, I probably should just bump the price up. The thing is now, like, there's so many people that have seen it that have added it to their cart. I bumped the price up. It feels a little dishonest. So, might have to think about that. They might sell before I can make a decision. Who knows? This is, not a great flip by any means, but it's kind of cool because it is a jacket that sold in July. And it didn't sell to the Southern Hemisphere. It sold to California. So, um, I expected this to be a low margin thing when I got it, but making trips through Goodwill, I see this stuff. I know that it's probably a $35, $40 item. I'll pick it up. Easy to list, easy to ship. Throw it in a bag and slap a label on it and get it out the door. This probably not even really worth mentioning in terms of dollars or ROI. 9mm Woodland mags. I remember why I mentioned this because I have supposedly in that box of in a box somewhere in the bulk surplus buy a bunch of these, which I would love to find because these do sell, and finding things from that bulk buy that sell quickly is my main priority right now. Things that are easy to list, sell quickly, to start recovering some of that $2,000 capital investment. And from my experience of having sold 4 of these in 2 sets of 2, I know that they are in demand and move relatively fast, and I know what people will pay for them. So um, that's why that's on here. What's the last thing that's on here? An infinite return yo-yo. I did not assign a cost to this. This came from the Darby storage unit. I purchased some of the stuff out of there. It's nice. We could pick and choose. And this was just in the box of toys. 90s yo-yo. Like, this is easy to ship, easy to list. Well, let me just throw this up and see if there's any takers. And sure enough, and it sells. It's sold quick. I keep trying to prime myself for things taking 6 months, 8 months to sell. And sure, there are things that have been listed for 6 months and have not sold. But I think eventually those will start selling, and then I'll go, oh yeah, now I remember this. But I've been sort of lucky with this kind of stuff that you don't expect, like a yo-yo selling in 2 months for just, you know, price of lunch. So that's cool. And that's everything that sold in the last 2 weeks. It's worth mentioning. And gosh, I got so many videos that I would like to make, but video editing is tough for somebody who's not a professional video editor and who is a professional reseller and is spending most of his time trying to resell stuff. So hopefully the next time you see me, we'll be talking about what sold in this upcoming week. Um, if you like this content, if you're learning stuff from this content, hopefully people can watch this stuff and figure out, oh, I can sell this stuff instead of passing on it at the Goodwill or at the estate sale or the garage sale or whatever, and use that to their advantage. So if you like that kind of thing, if that's what you're doing, hit the thumbs up, like the video, subscribe, etc. I'll see you next time. Peace.